Number 17, James Matthews. Number 4, Paul McGregor is out, replaced by number 16, Dale Flick. The Brisbane team,
and that shot there will give you an idea of what sort of a crowd has turned out to the Wollongong Showground today. The locals have really got behind their side, and there's our referee, Graham Annesley, all set to get the match underway after checking with both captains, and blows the whistle, and away they go in this round 14 clash at Wollongong Stadium. Ooh, a bit of a kick forward there. What's going to happen? Illawarra will end up with it.
All Broncos were offside in front of Gene Miles. Couldn't touch it. Disastrous start for Brisbane.
Yes, it gives them a chance to go on the attack now, and taking it up over there is Teitzel.
The sun obviously in Gene Miles' eyes there, Bill, but a very, very risky practice.
So it gives plenty of opportunity now for the Steelers to put on some early pressure as Dunn takes it up. From the play, the ball back to Russell. Russell going to be taken ball and all. Dummy half is Skifaliti. They send it across, taken over there by Simon. Simon getting it outside then to Morrissey. Broncos under plenty of pressure, but this is the final tackle. Not the ideal start. Going to be put up high in the air by Simon. They're coming through. O'Neill's back there, but it's going to be taken by straight into the hands eventually of Kevin Walters.
Well, Wayne Bennett, Bill, be one person who'd breathe a huge sigh of relief along with all the Broncos supporters. They put themselves under the hammer in the first few minutes of the game. A little bit fortunate there. The ball dropped by Rodwell, picked up by Kevin Walters. Brisbane to work it out.
So that's Marcone bringing it up to the quarter line. Walters is at dummy half. He swings it away this time to Gilmeister. And Gilmeister put down about 25 metres out from the Broncos line. At this stage, we might take your touchline and say good afternoon to Tony Durkin.
Good afternoon, Bill. A beautiful day in Wollongong today. Very windy down this part of the world yesterday, but certainly that wind is abated, and perfect conditions here for rugby league. And with me, the Australian Test fullback, Paul Hoff. And Hoffy, first of all, congratulations. How's it been your first couple of days in training?
Well, you know, training's been pretty good. Everyone's settled down quite well, and me and Steve Walters, we're the new blokes, and you know, everyone's made us feel welcome. Training-wise, it's been good. It's been short and sharp, and everything's going well.
You had a chance to talk to the boys briefly before the game. How do they feel?
Oh yeah, they're fired up because they always know it's hard to beat Illawarra down here. So, you know, speaking to a few of the blokes, and they're really keen to get on top and win the game.
Paul, thanks for your time, and all the best for Wednesday in Melbourne.
Thanks very much, Tony.
So the Broncos end up with the feed after the kick was touched by an Illawarra player, so they're able to work it up towards the halfway mark now. Kieran Walters to dummy half again. Sends it back to Marcone, straight up the centre. He'll be wrapped up in the tackle of Teitzel. Final tackle now. So back to Terry Madison. Madison trying to find touch. It's not going to find touch. It'll go in the in-goal area, though, into touch. And play will come back onto the quarter line.
And the touch judge on too, Bill, and he's going to make a report. It'll be interesting to see if it's with regard to Gene Miles. He certainly came in for a lot of treatment over the far side of the field there when he took the ball up. And the touch judge waiting for the moment where the attacking side was no longer in possession. John Simon has been called out for the caution. It just seemed to me that Miles has been in great form, and he was put under pressure early.
Sure was. Here's Skifaliti to take the tap right on the quarter line. Illawarra able to put on that early pressure. The Broncos withstood it, and withstood it quite well.
Interesting selection, Bill, as I see it, as Brett Lemaine brought into the forward pack. It's a long time since Brett Lemaine has started a first-grade match, mainly because he suffered a little bit through injury and has been caught back in reserve grade. But they've obviously, as a penalty here goes to Illawarra, Greg Dowling too long over the tackle player. But Brett Lemaine is a noted defender, can't be underestimated in attack either. But I would think Wayne Bennett has gone for a bit of extra work rate in defence to come up against a very strong Illawarra 6.
Well, they certainly get that defence from Lemaine. He's probably one of the hardest workers you'll get out there on the paddock. This is Russell with it. Tackled by that man in Brett Lemaine. Broncos off to a good early start here today. They won the two early matches, President's Cup 18-14 and 18-16 in reserve grade, and they were trailing in that one up until about the last couple of minutes. So it's been a good performance from them. That's done with it. Tackle just inside the quarter. Dummy half Skifaliti. Outside then to Teitzel. Teitzel's going to be wrapped up. Taking plenty of time to get it off him, which eventually they do. Simon getting it outside to Smith. Smith onto Rodwell. Rodwell taking ball and all. They've got him in a touch on the far side of the ground. That was good work. Renouf came at him.
Yes, Steve Renouf admitting that perhaps his defence has let him down a little bit in the pre-season or in the early part of the season. On this occasion, that sliding defence working to effect. working the attack toward the touchline.
So the scrum just inside the Brisbane quarter. And Willie Kahn coming in from that right wing to take off a bit of pressure for the Broncos. Excellent crowd, as Tony Durkin mentioned, and quite in contrast to the conditions when the Broncos last visited the Wollongong Showground back in 1988. Very wet conditions. The Broncos won 32-10 on that occasion. And in fact, along with Newcastle, the Illawarra side and Newcastle remain the only two sides that have not beaten the Brisbane Broncos in a Winfield Cup match. Although, David, they did extend them in the Panasonic Cup final a couple of years ago and also in the pre-season this year.
Yes, not to be underestimated. They're a better side this year than they've been. Here's another touch in flight, and Brisbane, for the second time in the match, will get loose head and feed. It's a rule I think the league could look at. I don't believe a touch in terms of a charge down should be designated as a touch of the ball. We see so often where the kicking side can be getting a huge advantage with touched in flight. And we've seen a number of tries scored this year and previous years from exactly that, through no fault of the defending side.
So disrupted back line for Illawarra today with the loss of Wishart and McGregor. The Broncos have won their third scrum in this match so far. That's Walters taking it to 8 metres short of the halfway line.
Intensity by Illawarra is very good today, and they will really press Brisbane.
Well, we talk about their great defensive record. They've only conceded 25 tries so far in the season, and 6 of those were in that first round loss to Penrith, 32 points to 10.
You can see why. They move up very quickly, and in 6 tackles there, Brisbane have progressed it finally into Illawarra's half.
Now Madison with the kick downfield.
Touched again.
And it was taken out there by Alan McIndoe.
Skifalidi seems to be the man given the job to get out of that marker position and try the charge down. That's 3 in a row now for Brisbane.
That's young James Matthews, one of the replacement players on the side. It'll go across for Russell. Good solid defence by Brisbane. Skifalidi. Madison went low and Leman over the top. And again, Leman, third tackle in a row for the replacement second row forward. Now it'll go back for Tony Smith. Nicely taken by O'Neill. Today playing in only his second first grade game. And he acquitted himself quite well in that debut match against Canterbury Bankstown back in round 11. Although the Broncos lost on that occasion by 20 points to 18. Of course, Graham Murray, the former Penrith reserve grade coach, who has done an outstanding job with Illawarra so far this year. 7 wins, a draw and 5 losses. And as we mentioned, they boast the best defensive record in the Winfield Cup. They'll be tested against the smart attacking outfit of Brisbane today. There's Madison. Oh, that's out on the fall. So that will give loose head and feed to Illawarra inside Brisbane's half.
Pressure consistently coming on Terry Madison. There's 3 being touched in flight. This time it wasn't a touch, but certainly the pressure forced him to go for too much angle.
Still no score. We've had around about 7 or 8 minutes of play in this first half. Brisbane have kicked 5 times in general play to Illawarra's 2, but their kicking game, Brisbane, has not been spot on so far. Again, with Alan Langer out of the side, and Conway, who's taken most of the general kicking responsibilities in recent weeks, David. Again, a bit of disruption with Madison assuming that role today.
Well, it will be, but he's well and truly experienced, and he'll certainly do his job. But the cheer there from the crowd was for Gene Miles, who appeared to put out a leg.
Brett Leman is down inches. The pass coughed up by Morrissey for McIndoe. It goes back inside for Fritz. And the Brisbane defence is tested and stretched on the final tackle. They'll move it across through Simon for Russell, who's been one of the form players. Dunn served up a beautiful ball, and tremendous defence by young O'Neill.
What a beautiful tackle by Julian O'Neill. He had to make it. A try was on. The opportunity there was for Tony Smith to score it, but Julian O'Neill, right place at the right time, wrapped him up on the 6. Let's have another look at it. Good passage of play. Rodwell puts it up, gives it to Smith. Smith looked to try and duck under the tackle. Julian O'Neill positive, and he had to be.
Well, Andrea Tessman is on the field for Brett Leman. Injured again early in this match. He's had a wretched run with injuries in his first grade appearances. Now Gilmeister upfield.
Great flat ruck, that one. That's the 5th tackle.
He's been an outstanding form in 91 as Trevor Gilmeister. It'll go back now for Julian O'Neill this time to kick in general play. Kicking to the open wing. And fortunately, it's been knocked on by
Matthews. The crowd suggested it was knocked back, but a foolish kick from Julian O'Neill.
Well, O'Neill looked to the right-hand side and thought that he'd cut left. I think that's a bit tough there on Matthews. The ball looked to me to bounce backwards.
Yeah, I think the crowd were pretty right on that occasion. So the scrum to pack down 25 metres out from the Illawarra line. Waiting for Kevin Walters. Moving into the halfback spot, of course, with the absence of Alfie Langer. With the scrum, he'll work it out to Madison. Madison deciding to run, steps back inside, but is picked up on the cover of Ian Russell. Plays it forward, there's no one at home. So now the chance for the Broncos to put on some pressure for the first time in this match.
And this is where they play some good football, close to the try line.
Greg Dowling turns it back inside to Gene Miles. Or rather, it was Michael Hancock got in there. Taking it up over there is Gilmeister. Walters to dummy half. They're spread either side. Which way will he go? He'll go to Madison. Then across to Walters. Walters to Gene Miles. Miles to Madison, doubling around. Madison going to be taken out, but back inside it goes to Michael Hancock. And the final tackle is coming up. Walters to Walters. Then outside to Dowling. Dowling puts a little kick. It's back into the in-goal area, and it just goes over the dead ball line.
A little bit of improvisation there. Dowling off Walters, put him into a bit of a hole, realising it was the sixth tackle upcoming, under enormous pressure. Little chip kick, nearly came off actually, because it almost stopped in the field of play.
It only just got over the dead ball line, didn't it?
McIndoe showing some great patience.
So they'll take the tap on the quarter line, Illawarra. Oh, that's Dunn taking it up. So they've had a fair bit of possession, the Broncos, but haven't done as much with it as Illawarra.
No, there's no points on the board, Bill, and Brisbane have had a couple of half chances. Illawarra, although not having maximum possession, have had territorial advantage.
So the dummy half is Skifaliti. They keep it going via the hands of Morrissey. Kevin Walters getting in underneath there and putting Fritz to ground. Back now to Morrissey. Wrapped up about 11 metres short of the halfway mark. It is the final tackle. There are no points on the board here at Wollongong. Kick downfield. Julian O'Neill waits for it, takes it nicely. But have a look at that line of defence coming up from Illawarra. He's no chance of getting around there. We'll get up to play it. Michael Hancock decides to have a bit of a run away from dummy half. Runs into the tackle of John Simon, and also getting into it is Matthews. Tony Curry swings it back to Hone, taking it up. Matthews got underneath him again. Walters, Tessman. Charges up into that Illawarra forward pack, who eventually wrap him up with Skifaliti getting underneath. Madison, Walters, Renoff out of the tackle, feeds it away to Willie Kahn. Is going to be taken by McIndoe in the process, but was still able to get the pass away. Back inside to Renoff. The final tackle's coming up. So they swing it back this time to O'Neill, who really had to turn around to recover that one because he got pressure at him from Tony Smith, and then he puts it into touch on the full.
Well, that's a poor effort there by Brisbane. You could not blame Julian O'Neill. The pass was not a good one that came to him. He had to spin out and avoid a tackle. Here's a changeover.
So let's see what they can do with it from here. Outside it goes to Rodwell. Rodwell gets the one-headed pass away to Matthews. Matthews is grabbed by Michael Hancock, who pulled him into touch. Crowd not liking it.
Great tackle though by Michael Hancock.
So the scrum will pack down midway between the quarter and halfway. There it is. Hancock in. Another little push, full right at the end there.
Yes, and some suggestion that he may not have actually touched the ground, even though he was over the touchline. He did seem to be suspended. Tony Durkin right in front of you.
Well, certainly looked like that to me, David. I didn't think the player went into touch, but the touch judge was right there.
So they've worked it up to the halfway mark now. Walters getting it outside then to Tessman. Tessman turns around, eventually is pulled out of the tackle over there of Dunn. So back to Madison. Walters. Kevin Walters feeds it away to Gene Miles. He's playing fairly wide today. Seems to be a bit of a favourite of the crowd down here. Whenever he gets it, they let everyone know about it. Walters.
Interesting, Bill, that Illawarra seem to play without a sweeper in their line. They get a very good first up line of defence, but no one just in behind.
Kerrod Walters kicking this time. Taken back there by Riolo. And he just gets out into the field of play. So the Broncos have kicked a fair bit, but they haven't kicked effectively.
No, there's been a lot of pressure coming from Illawarra out of the marker position. Brisbane favoured by the wind in the first half.
And they've also used 4 kickers in general play, the Broncos, in the opening 15 minutes. Now Russell.
You're counting GD as a kicker there, aren't you?
Well, it's quite interesting. GD and Steve Renoff were having little kicking drills in practice during the week, and we brought up that one when he kicked the field goal for Wigan. Bill would still pride of place with GD. Put Wigan 1-0 in the lead in the English League some years ago. So I think he fancies himself as a kicker. Now O'Neill. Driven to the ground, 5 metres short of the halfway line. Still no score here at the Wollongong Showground. And Hone, having only his 4th start in the top grade. In 1991, he played something like 19 or 20 matches last year. Now Madison, back for Hancocky, looking for work. He's 10 metres inside Illawarra's end of the ground. Out of dummy half, Walters throws the pass for Madison to Kevin Walters. Delayed the pass and took on the defence. Final tackle, it'll go back for O'Neill. Touched in flight again. And it finds touch, and that's a vital one because it should be loose head and feed to the Brisbane Broncos.
I don't think he's called it, they thought. Yes, just now he has. It was only at the last minute. I thought he may have been going to class it as a rebound, but he's called it touched, and Brisbane with a great opportunity now.
And I just wonder whether Gene Miles was thinking of attacking down that blind side from the scrum. Still no score here at the showground at Wollongong. And the scrum 8 metres out. The Illawarra backs up very, very quickly. Second feed by Walters. It comes open side. Madison ran across field looking for the straight runner, but it wasn't forthcoming. Renoff will go to dummy half. Wrapping around is Gilmeister. Tremendous work rate is Trevor Gilmeister. Now they'll look for probably Dowling on the wrap. There's Dowling, trying to get on the outside, gave it to Curry, taken out without the football. He's also knocked it on.
The knock-on will be played, and it's actually gone dead over the dead ball line. That's an interesting decision. Let's have a look at it. Dowling has done the right thing there. The ball knocked forward. Well in the field of play. The referee deciding Illawarra should get the benefit of the 22-metre tap.
Well, that's the former Brisbane South front row forward, Craig Teitzel, who's played in every one of the games for the Steelers this year. He came across from Western Suburbs a couple of years ago. Now done, and the crowd getting behind the Steelers. Certainly the crowd record of 15,296 set against St George last year could well be tested here this afternoon against the Broncos, as the break is made by Fritz, relishing his chance in the top grade here again this afternoon. Russell keeps the momentum going on this short side. The pass has been knocked forward by Skiffoliti, and the pressure valve has been released on the Broncos.
Poor pass, that one from Russell. Skiffoliti was in good position to take it, but the pass was just low and in front. Here it is again. Russell not just giving Skiffoliti the best opportunity. Skiffoliti thrust out a hand, knocked it forward.
Very poor attempt to try and catch the football, though, in fairness. Now Madison. O'Neill came into the line. That excellent defence of Russell very quickly off the back of the scrum. And the Broncos have come up with some errors. A lot of them have been unforced as well. Now Tessman. They certainly have dominated possession, though, Brisbane, in the opening 17 or 18 minutes. Now Madison searching for a break on that close proximity to the ruck, but he's taken about 9 metres short of the halfway line. Illawarra very, very quickly up in defence. Certainly have applied a lot of pressure, particularly on the Brisbane kicking game in this first half. And it's worked to great effect. Let's see what O'Neill can do on this occasion. Angling it. Well, it's out on the full again. Their kicking game has left a lot to be desired and has put so much pressure back on themselves.
Julian O'Neill there, plenty of time. The pressure wasn't right on him, but that wind right on that angle has not judged it at all well. Illawarra with their chance.
Now Simon away for Smith, straight running Teitzel. Rod will go to dummy half. Brisbane have kicked 11 times in general play in this first half. About 19 minutes of play gone, and no score at the Wollongong Showground. Good attacking position now for the Steelers. Piccinelli, that's a good break. Now Morrissey former North Queenslander from Collinsville. Now the break by Riolo. He got the pass to McIndoe, and the man who pinched his State of Origin jersey off him last year, Willie Curran, wraps him up. Now it goes away for Smith. Good solid defence by Tessman, who wraps him up ball and all in the final tackle. Skiffaliti. It's a Brisbane ball, and 20 minutes gone here at the Wollongong Showground, and the deadlock is yet to be broken.
Yes, it's been pretty tight so far, particularly from the Illawarra side. They've put plenty of pressure on also, but no one's got into that scoring mode as of yet. As Mark Hone brings it up to the quarter line. Absolutely beautiful day here today. This is Gilmeister, breaks out of the tackle. He's looking outside, he's got Hancock with him, he dummies, he's waiting for the fence. Now for Hancock, he props, cuts back inside, got away from Matthews. But eventually Matthews comes after him.
Easy to be smart after the event, Bill, but perhaps giving it straight to Hancock and giving him plenty of time to build up pace.
Would have agreed with that one. Going to be knocked down by Illawarra. Out after it is McIndoe. McIndoe kicks it through, but I think he's going to pull it up. He will.
Correct decision. Alan McIndoe hoping he can play on, but the knock-on was by Illawarra.
Well, I don't know what the crowd are booing for. It is quite an obvious knock-on.
Let's have a look at it. They could have been hoping that it was only the arm knocked down, but certainly Rodwell there, knocking the ball. It was only knocked on by about 10 metres. Brisbane loose head and feet.
Change coming up here in the Illawarra side, Tony.
Yeah, Phil Tiernan in jersey number 40's come on, Bill, for Craig Teitzel.
So the scrum packs down just inside Illawarra territory, and they win it against the feed. It comes across to Rodwell. Renoff coming at him. He puts him down. Tony Curry combines in the tackle also. So from the play, the ball back to Russell. So once again, it's Illawarra able to put on the pressure. That's Tiernan. And the crowd starting to get right behind them here with the chant of Steelers. Taking it up the centre over there is Morrissey. From the play, the ball. Skibaliti up over the quarter line. Broncos defence hanging on, the final tackle. Back over then to Simon. Simon in turn to Smith. Smith with the grubber kick through. Coming in from the wing is Hancock to clean it up. Took it just in front of O'Neill. I think he's charged into O'Neill and injured him slightly.
Yeah, they certainly bumped Bill, but there you can't afford to hesitate. Hancock believed he was in the best position to grab it and did.
So now it's Gerard Walters.
His dummy half running, Bill, I think's improved. He's not always looking for a gap now or someone to run through or around. He just steals that 5 metres and then take the gaps if they're there.
Tessman up to the quarter line.
You were saying, Billy, that Walters practiced a lot of moves out of dummy half yesterday at their final training session.
Yeah, they did quite a bit of it yesterday morning. Well, of course, if you practice, you're a better chance of getting things right, aren't you? Here's a good kick downfield this time. Going back there is Riolo.
Good line by Brisbane here, good defensive line.
Now he gets it away to McIndoe. McIndoe coming at Willie Carney. Pushed away, Willie Carney's down that touchline. Julian O'Neill to beat. He's got support. Comes up to O'Neill. A nice tackle by the fullback to put him down. 2 try-saving tackles he's made. They kick it through. The tackle count will start again. Skibaliti. Skibaliti pulled down about 10 metres out, but there's plenty of pressure to go. They've got enough tackles. Playing it back, away it goes to Russell. Russell waits for a little bit, but he's taken ball and all in the tackle. From the play, the ball. Away from dummy half, Simon. Simon gets it to no one, eventually bouncing into the hands over there of Piccinelli. Dummy half is Skibaliti again. Cross over there to Simon. Simon with a little kick through. O'Neill going back there. Takes it in the in-goal area, but can't get away from the tackle of Dunn.
Good pressure play this from Illawarra. Brisbane just hanging on by their fingernails at the moment. Julian O'Neill has certainly answered any criticism that people have had of him at fullback, and I guess I was one of those who believed he was better suited closer to the ruck. 2 great try-saving tackles, and then on the spot to save the day there.
So here at the Wollongong Showground, no points on the board as yet, with the Broncos to drop out from underneath the goal mount. Changes coming up, Tony.
A very important change too, Bill, in the Illawarra side. Their skipper, Tony Smith, has left the field. It does appear as though Smith has a pretty serious ankle injury. He's been replaced by the reserve grade skipper in jersey 20, Doug Delaney.
And I noticed Brett Leman getting ready on the touchline to come on for the Broncos. So they survive again, the Broncos.
But it may cost them 2 points here. Stealing the ball incident. But Brisbane have been called on all their reserves in defence to keep Illawarra out. Let's have another look at it. Strong run, that one by Morrissey. Testament over the top. The ball goes clear. It's hard to see how the referee can decide one way or another there. He's come up with a penalty to Illawarra and a chance for Matthews to put the first points on the board for the match.
Well, John Simon, we thought would be the first-string kicker today in the absence of Rod Wishart. But young Matthews, who in fact is the leading point scorer in the Illawarra club this year, he's had a perfect record in first grade. In the 3 starts off the interchange bench, he's kicked 3 from 3, including 1 from 1 against Parramatta last weekend. So the kick is 33 metres out. He's around about 10 metres to the left of the upright. The breeze coming right to left. So he'll aim it towards the right-hand upright and try and drift it back. There's the kick. He's got it into the air nicely. The first point's on the board. It's the Steelers in the lead by 2-0, and Matthews keeps that 100% record in first grade.
Certainly no other was kicked by number 17, James Matthews. Steelers 2, Brisbane 0.
The opening 26 or 27 minutes has seen quite a number of errors, David, and it's been pretty well evenly shared.
Yeah, Illawarra have been at fault 12 times to Brisbane's 9. Interesting photo a little while ago there for a kick downfield. I called a good Broncos defensive line, and Illawarra were allowed to get on the outside of it. When you go up after a kick, you must hem in the receiver, not let him get the break on the outside. A fellow like McIndoe can really do a job on you, and it only took a brilliant tackle by Julian O'Neill to save a try.
Well, he's at a marvellous strike rate in first grade football, Alan McIndoe. Probably one of the unlucky players not to play a test match. His only international appearance was against the rest of the world in 1988, but what a strike rate, David. 114 first grade games for Penrith and Illawarra, and he's come up with 75 tries.
Yes, he's certainly a great finisher, and Fordo, as you say, has not played for Australia, but there again, he is a specialist winger. And selectors, for some unbelievable reason, continue to pick players out of position. Dale Shearer and Andrew Eddinghausen wingers for Wednesday night.
Well, earlier this year he scored 5 tries in 1 match against the Gold Coast. Now Dowling, of those 75 tries in first grade, 49 of them for the Illawarra club. And they've come up in something like 83 matches, so really has been a try-scoring machine on that left wing. Now that's the kick from Madison, this time getting the bounce that he wanted, and that takes play deep inside Illawarra's territory.
I don't think Madison was even shooting for touch there. They'd finally given up on looking for touch, and he tried to hook it downfield, but the slope of the ground there takes it toward the touch line. And Brisbane pin Illawarra in their own territory. 28
minutes of play gone here at the showground, and the Steelers in the lead by 2-0. That's Delaney on the field for Smith. Simon has gone to 5/8, and he turned a nice pass back on the inside on that occasion.
Problems for Brisbane came because Gene Miles was slow into the scrum at lock.
Now they move it. Fritz through the beautiful dummy. He got it back for Russell, and Renoff wrapped him up, ball and all. Now they're looking for Tiernan. He's the first receiver, and he takes on the Brisbane defence. Got a ball out the back door. Now Delaney scored a terrific try in reserve grade. Here's Rodwell. Rodwell back for McIndoe. He's left the ball behind him, and it's a Brisbane Broncos ball inside their own quarter.
Scrambling defence by Brisbane. If they can go in at half-time with only a couple of points in this, they'll be most grateful. Even though they're running with the wind, they have been under pressure, but their defence somehow has got back to save the day. Another indication of it.
Now it's Testman. Taken ball and all by Russell. Underneath was Piccinelli. Greg Dowling adjusting a boot in back play. Now Gilmeister. The final tackle, and they use another kicker in Miles. And again out on the full.
Well, I've seen it happen as often in any match. An atrocious kicking display by Brisbane in the first half. It must be 3 or 4 perhaps that have gone out on the full. 4 it is, and a number of those have been touched in flight. Brisbane would want to get their kicking game together.
Now Leman is on for Greg Dowling.
Interesting too, Fordo, that Bob Conway has been doing the kicking in general play, and he's cooling his heels on the bench at the moment.
Now Morrissey inside the quarter. Wayne Bennett and Steve Calder look on. They would not be impressed in the kicking game of Brisbane. 29 and a half gone in this first half, and the Steelers by 2. Rodwell taken high, and it's a Brisbane ball, but they have been under pressure.
They certainly have. They're managing to hold them out, but the question at this stage, David, is how long can they do it for?
Well, it's debatable, Bill. I think Brisbane would take a little bit of confidence from this particular passage of play in that they are holding on. They want to get their act together. Renoff!
He's away. Rodwell's coming across out after him. He's up over the halfway mark. He's going to go himself. Now he cuts back inside. Oh, sends a pass that couldn't be picked up by Willie Card, and Illawarra will end up with possession.
Well, that couldn't have been picked up by Superman. That was a silly pass by Renoff. The first couple of plays, impossible pass. He did get it up reasonably well, but Khan could not really have predicted the fact that it was going to be there. A great break comes to nothing.
So they keep it going now with Rodwell. Pulled out about 5 metres short of the halfway mark. It's a 2-point advantage, 2-0 to Illawarra at the moment. Back over there to Skiffaliti. Now it comes out to Dunn.
Brett Rodwell there in back play, slowly getting to his feet.
Now the kick downfield. Julian O'Neill's had a fair bit of work today, both in attack and defence. He's working across field to try and get away from these Illawarra defenders, but there's no chance on that because there were too many of them.
One of the rare times, David, I've seen him run with the ball in one hand and not two.
Yes, well, maybe he's becoming accustomed to that fullback role when out in open spaces. There's no need to have the ball initially in 2 hands. This has been a top-class game. There's not been a try in the first half. Both sides have thrown themselves at one another in defence. In particular, Illawarra. It's not surprising they are the best defensive side in the comp. We've seen why so far today, and really there's been a number of breaks to keep the supporters happy in terms of attacking football.
Well, when you're talking about defence, there was one big hit there by Tiernan, and that was on Trevor Gilmeister, and Gilmeister is at the moment take a little while to recover from it. Kick down into the in-goal area. Taken back there by Riolo. He'll work across field. Kieran Walters comes at him and puts him down. Kevin Walters is the tackler this time. Crowd looking for a penalty. I don't think they're a chance of getting it at the moment. It's the old story you can ask, can't you?
Yes, I don't think it's out of the question either, Bill, because Brisbane will want to move up quickly.
Rodwell is down again, injured. Taking it up that time is Dunn. Dummy half is Skiffaliti. It is the final tackle. Skiffaliti decides to kick on this occasion. Just a little wide of O'Neill. Now he scoops it up. Runs straight upfield, but into the tackle of Fritz and Russell. Tony Curry, Hancock. Straight ahead, bumps into Skiffaliti. Kept going again. He really fights for that extra metre. So Brett Leman pulled down 10 metres short of halfway. Kieran Walters. Madison. Tessman. To Mark Home this time, to the halfway mark now. Unloads it nicely to Gilmeister, then to Curry. Curry's going to be taken ball and all. That was a good tackle by Matthews.
Excellent tackle, Matthews, because he had to wrap up Curry.
Final tackle, and they're swinging it around everywhere over there, eventually to O'Neill. He decides to run it out now. They were waiting for him to have the kick. Now he's almost through the gap. Skiffaliti comes at him. Pass back inside to Gene Miles. Miles looking for someone. He finds Walters. Walters going to head across field, still going. Sends it over the top. It'll go straight in the hands of Matthews. He breaks out of one tackle. Now he sends a pass back that can't be picked up. Going to be knocked on back there by Morrissey.
Well, you give these sides a bit of credit for their ability to try and counter-attack. Brisbane decided after O'Neill was held off that they'd run it. They went close. Illawarra immediately answer. Here's Matthews firing the pass up. Knocked on for sure by Les Morrissey. Brisbane another chance.
Julian O'Neill doesn't look too hot at this stage, Tony Durkin.
Well, Billy, Julian O'Neill has come straight from schoolboy football into the Broncos' first grade side, and I don't think he's done as much work in a game of football before in his whole life as the first 35 minutes of this one.
Well, the good news for him is there's another 40 to go after this.
Yeah, but he's done a great job.
He certainly has. This is Terry Madison working around looking for someone. He finds Mick Hancock. Hancock straight up the centre. So at this stage, 5 minutes to the half-time break, and Illawarra lead by 2-0.
And it's Miles, 9 metres out, unloading or trying to unload the football, but Tiernan was there to wrap him up. Walters now looking for the option. I think he sees a bit of an opportunity on the left. It was a very poor play, the ball by Miles.
Gene Miles gets up pleading, but that was a great chance for Brisbane. That is no more. Miles there thought about playing it forward and did, and then knocked it on. Didn't need to play it forward. Chance of out wide.
4 minutes remain to half-time, and the Steelers lead by 2-0. It's been an absorbing first half so far. No tries, but plenty of big hits. A few clean breaks, but they've finally led to nothing. It's been scrambling defence on both sides. Piccinelli wrapped up over the top by Mark Hone. Underneath was Gilmeister. Now Morrissey through the tackle of Walters, and the former Canberra player takes it about 25 out from his own goal line. It goes to Russell. A lovely ball for Delaney. And the referee has picked it as called by David Wright.
No doubt at all that was an obstruction. The tackle would have been made, I think, by Kevin Walters. He couldn't get to him because Brett Rodwell was in the road. Blatant obstruction. May have been accidental, but certainly obstructed. Have a look at it on the right. Walters in would definitely have made the tackle there on Delaney. Obstructed by Rodwell. Brisbane a chance to square it up.
So Brisbane's first penalty, pointed out by our statistician Graham Roberts. So it's come 37 minutes into the first half, and a chance for Terry Madison, who so far this year has kicked 19 from 28, a strike rate of 68%. So far in first grade football this year, he's played second row lock, hooker and 5/8, and for part of the game against Canterbury played in the halfback role as well. So his versatility is unquestioned. His goal-kicking ability certainly has never been questioned. In fact, he scored 348 first-grade points for the Broncos since he made that tremendous debut against Manly back in 1988, where he scored 2 tries and kicked 8 goals. He moves in from 33 out in front of the post. He's got it nicely into the air, but waved away. It goes dead in goal. Play will come back to the quarter line for the restart of play. So the Broncos bench, we see Bob Conway with the headband on, Paul Isles, Willie Morganson, Brett Plowman there as well. Certainly some power on the bench. Khan deceived by the bounce, but in his defence would have been looking straight into that sun, David, but clever play by the Illawarra side to angle the ball towards him.
There's Simon, it was, who kicked that way. A freakish bounce, but loose head and feet Brisbane.
Around about 2.5 minutes remain to the half-time break. And the Broncos trailed by 2-0. Is it one against the feed? Yeah, they finally got it, Brisbane.
Well, Brisbane suffering from the fact that was nearly against the feed. They've already lost one against the feed. Kevin Walters has not played a lot of halfback in recent years. Someone should tell him you cannot be penalised for feeding the second row.
Now Tessman. He's 11 metres short of the halfway line at Brisbane's end of the ground. Walters is the dummy half. It'll go away through Hone. Taken in the tackle of Dunn. Andrew Tessman is down, injured in back play. Madison hits it up the blind, and he spotted the gap and got through it. He takes it 10 metres inside Illawarra's end of the ground on the final tackle. It'll go now for Gene Miles. The kick in general play is over the head of McIndoe, and it's finally taken by Riolo, and Miles chased his own kick to bring him to ground. Renouf was up there as well. It goes for Rodwell. He's 11 out from his own goal line. Piccinelli away for Russell. He's got good attacking skills as well as being arguably their best defender, Ian Russell. Now Tiernan, and offside, had to be.
Brisbane are quite fortunate here. They may well get an opportunity to square up this match up to half-time. Terry Madison shouldn't miss this, right in front, 20 metres out. Here it is again, just a little fumble by Illawarra, bounced from one back to another. And in an offside position, Craig Tietzel.
Fabulous setting here at the Wollongong Showground on this fabulous south coast of New South Wales. Alan Langer back to the Test Arena next Wednesday night at Olympic Park in Melbourne against the Kiwis.
The sure footer, he would have been exploiting just in behind the line. Illawarra do not very often. They have occasionally played a sweeper. Little rubber kick by Alfie could have been very handy today.
Madison 20 metres out in front. He's missed one goal already. There's the kick. This time the flags go up and Terry Madison registers his 350th point in the Winfield Cup, and it draws it back level at half-time. The hooter has gone at the end of the first 40 minutes and has produced no tries. A goal to Matthews, a goal to Madison right on time. It's all tied up. We'll be back for the second 40 on the other side of this break.
So all these fans packed in out there in the outer section. They've had a fair bit to cheer about too in this first half. They've had a lot of action. A lot of action indeed. 2 points all at the half-time break. Got our cameraman up there, poised on top of one of those scissor lifts. And we'd like to thank the folks from GKN for providing those to us down here. Makes the job a heck of a lot easier. So now it's Illawarra in possession, down on their own quarter. As the ball comes back to Rodwell. On the play the ball again, back over there to Tietzel. So there were plenty of opportunities, or more opportunities for Illawarra in that first half. I thought, David, they should have had a couple of tries on the board by now.
Well, I agree, Bill, and ironically, Julian O'Neill, there he is taking it very nicely. He was the man who saved the day a number of times for Brisbane. When we look at the first half, the tackling, Illawarra had to do more tackling. 108 tackles by Illawarra, 98 there by the Broncos. Top tacklers, 12 apiece there, Hayne and Walters, and Russell 15 and Dunn 12. So Brisbane have had a little bit more possession, but they haven't been able to utilise it as well as Illawarra. They'll be thankful for a 2-all scoreline at half-time.
So back it comes to Greg Dowling. Dowling strives for that extra little metre or so. Walters from dummy half decides to go himself. Now looking for the runner behind, finds his brother Kevin. He finds no one except a pilot.
Punch up in black play. Kerrod Walters.
And Tiernan, I think it is.
Tiernan it is. Well, Kerrod finds someone a bit smaller.
Well, he's got to be...
Meanwhile, the play goes on. Final tackle coming up as Gilmeister sends it back to Dowling. Dowling with a kick through across field. Coming out after it is Hancock. If he picks it up, it's going to be a chance. He does. He goes for the corner and he is in.
No, he's not, Bill. The touch judge has his flag up. Hancock, who I thought would have scored it from there. Would have been interesting to see whether Annesley would have awarded it anyway.
I don't think he's ruled no try for the being in touch. I think he's come in to report the incident.
I'm not so sure. I think he's got it for the in touch photo. Hancock there just holding his ankle. He's shrugging his shoulders as well. But certainly the touch judge now in to discuss with referee Graham Annesley, who I think's had a very good game. Scored 2-all at half-time, penalties 2-all. And it was Kerrod Walters and replacement player Phil Tiernan. Let's have a look at this. Hancock picks up the ball that had been grubber kicked through by Dowling. Cover defence, no chance that he scored it.
So the scrum to pack down, 10 metres out. Broncos ball, Madison.
Against the feed.
Settling it up in the centre there. Now here's a chance for the Broncos to start their second half on the right foot. Wait for it now as it goes back to O'Neill. O'Neill working across field, trying to find a gap, but there's no chance of that. Skiffalidi from one side and Rodwell from the other. Dummy half Walters. They still work that blind side out to Willie Kahn. Nowhere for Kahn to go. He's got a wall of players in front of him.
Bad ball by Kerrod Walters.
Back this time to Madison as they play the open side. Gene Miles, he cuts back the other way because those outside backs were coming up fairly quickly. That's Dowling with it. Dowling wrapped up, still about 5 metres out. They let it go to the left again. Walters searching for the gap. This is Marcone. Turns it back inside. Curry got to be put down about 5 metres out again. Now it's the Broncos' turn to test this Steelers defence. Little kick through. Going to be lost by Illawarra. Referee to play the knock-on in there.
Well, he's signalling Brisbane knocked it on first. I couldn't agree with him. I believed Illawarra did. It'd be very interesting to see who he gives the feed to. His initial action was to signal. Now, has he called that? Well, that should be a knock on Illawarra, and it is. Brisbane loose head and feed.
So Waller's about to feed this scrum. In it goes. Quickly across to Madison. Madison working across field, but no chance of doing anything on that occasion. Simon coming in with the tackle. Gene Miles, the one-hander, knocked down.
Curry did well.
Tackle count restarts. Tony Curry hurt in that tackle. Gilmeister gets it away to Hone.
Forward, he's called it. Much to the pleasure of the crowd. Annesley indicating that the line showed him clearly that the pass was forward. Let's have a look at, always awkward to run on the angle here, and Hone coming through straight off a pass from Gilmeister. Got Tony Curry in trouble. Tony Durkin down on the sideline.
Yeah, it looks like Tony Curry's injured that right shoulder of his. Willie Morganson, who had a sensational game in reserve grade for the Broncos today, warming up on the sideline, but certainly doesn't look good for Tony Curry.
So the scrum around about 10 metres out from the Illawarra line. Delaney from the back of the scrum is met by Miles in the tackle. That's good defence. Up there was Terry Madison. Now the switch to the point of the attack. Teitzel unloaded it for Delaney. Nowhere to go through there. And down on the touchline is a man would have been a very vital cog in this Illawarra side, Tony.
Yes, well, Rod Wishart with me, David, and Rod, obviously very disappointed you're not playing in this game. How's that hamstring coming along?
Yeah, I'm disappointed I'm not out there. It's a big game for us, but I was close to being there, and we just made a little bit extra precaution and give it one more week's rest and back for next week.
Illawarra certainly bombed a few opportunities in that first half. What did Graham have to say at half-time?
Well, that's what he said. He wasn't unhappy with the way we've been going. Our intensity's been there. Our kick and chase game's been good, but falling down a couple of errors in our own half, and we've just got to rectify that.
All right, Rod, thanks for your time, mate, and all the best when you get back to the Steelers.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, they've had an excellent home record here in 1991, the Steelers. But the Broncos haven't been all that flash on the road, David. They've had 6 outings, only the 2 wins against Parramatta and South, and losses to St George, North, West and Balmain.
Well, they're really under the hammer here at the moment. Brisbane playing away from home. There's a parochial crowd, very vocal as well, and they're under pressure, and there's an indication of it.
O'Neill got the pass from Madison, who is under pressure. Now McIndoe. Big, strong wing three-quarter, but a copybook tackle from Gilmeister. Riolo got the pass away for Russell. And I noticed the intensity of the chase with Russell when that kick was put downfield earlier. Terrific chasing game to wrap up Hancock. He leads the way all the time. And rewarded this year with selection in the representative trials for New South Wales. Scalati, good pass for Delaney. He takes it 10 metres inside Brisbane's end of the ground. Now the roll is on for the Steelers. That's Morrissey. Legs taken out from Madison. Scifalidi working on the blind side. Renouf got him. And he's been ruled offside.
Well, it's an amazing decision the crowd had been calling for some time. On the actual 6th tackle, Annesley deciding the penalty would be given. It can only be for being inside the 5 metres in effect. And they'll have a shot for goal. Had he been offside at the play of the ball, that's where the penalty would have been given.
So Matthews will have his second attempt. And a report from Tony Durkin on the sideline on the Illawarra captain.
Yeah, Tony Smith has a very badly torn ligaments in his ankle. He won't come back. And it's interesting, David, it does appear as though young Dean Scifalidi is the captain of this Illawarra side, and that's a tremendous honour for the young former Queenslander.
Yeah, today playing in his 57th first grade game, the successor to Michael Bolt, who chalked up 167 first grade games, which is the Illawarra record. And Scifalidi has played 56 of the last 57 games for the Steelers, chasing that record. There's the kick from Matthews. He's hooked it around beautifully. 2 from 2, and the Steelers are in the lead by 2.
Number 17, James Matthews. Steelers 4, Broncos 2.
8 minutes into the second half, and Illawarra get their nose in front again. Brisbane still have dominated possession in this second half, but haven't turned that into points. Illawarra with that 2-pointer by Matthews. Just hold that advantage. No tries so far in the match. And the match has been going some 48 minutes. Teitzel, 33 out from his own goal line.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to you all.
There's the kick downfield. 15,426 people here today, which breaks the record set against St George last year of 15,296. So the Steelers fans give themselves the applause they deserve. They have supported this side well this year, and David, they've had plenty to cheer about at home.
They have, and they're inspiring Illawarra here this afternoon. This side playing well above themselves in terms of their intensity. They have not let off for one moment, and Brisbane will really need to get their act into gear. I think something Brisbane need to do for it. Here's the 5th tackle upcoming. Brisbane need to throw the ball around a bit more often. They're playing close to the ruck, and Illawarra's defence likes to concentrate there.
There's the kick downfield, fielded by Riolo on his own quarter line, running across field, linking up with Matthews. But the defence was there of Walters. He got out of that tackle and takes it 32 out from his own goal line. But certainly the crowd right behind the Steelers here at the Wollongong Showground.
Yeah, and they're doing the job pretty well too. Back it comes inside this time to Simon. Simon breaks out of a tackle. They're starting to break out of a few. Tony Curry has left the field. What's the story, Tony Durkin?
Bill, nothing confirmed. It does appear as though Tony Curry may have dislocated a shoulder, and with 4 players in the test side and out for the next couple of weeks, that's a big blow for the Broncos.
So Brisbane have kicked on 5 occasions in play in this second half as opposed to Illawarra's 2.
Look at Riolo go.
Yes, he takes it and he slips out the tackle, gets the pass away to Matthews. Matthews going for the corner. This will be a try. And Illawarra score the first try of the match and go to a lead of 8 points to 2.
Bill, I said in the first half that Illawarra were vulnerable to that short kick, and in the second half, Brisbane fall for the same 3-card trick. Beautiful little kick, regained nicely, and then fired away. Let's have a look at it. The ball bounces up perfectly for Riolo, and then Matthews it is, just waiting his time. Picks up the pass, no problems at all. Riolo's still there if required. He isn't. And Matthews comes around to improve his position for the kick marginally. The little kick there by Delaney, beautifully placed. Brisbane no sweeper. Riolo picks it up on the bounce nicely. Brushes away from Julian O'Neill. Out to Matthews. Clear under the line. Illawarra extend their lead. They now lead by 8 points to 2 with the kick to come.
Well, their youth policy certainly has paid off, Bill. 2 young local juniors combining. And Matthews comes up with his first ever try in the Winfield Cup, and in fact now has scored all of the Illawarra points.
Well, I think he's a fair chance. The way he's been kicking, about adding another 2 to it, and that will put the job right back in the lap of the Broncos, because this team with the advantage such as that, and this crowd giving them all the support they need, would be very hard to beat. Amazing how he just plays the ball and just strolls around and then comes on in.
Hit it right, it's not a problem.
There he goes, he hit this one right. No, he hasn't, it's going to be waved away, so the score remains Illawarra lead by 8 points to 2.
Well, that's right, the Steelers, one number 17, James Matthews. The conversion was unsuccessful. Steelers 8, Brisbane 2. The lucky profile number today, ladies and gentlemen, was number 756. Lucky profile 756. The prize can be collected at the Steelers office on Tuesday morning.
So ready for the restart of play. It'll be Julian O'Neill coming up to kick off. And there it goes, swirling across field and finding touchdown there without anyone getting near it.
Loose head and feed will go to Illawarra, so they'll be quite happy to get the ball just inside their quarterway line. Bring it out safely, advantage of the wind in the second half. Just assured they'll look to kick early.
Brisbane getting scrums 10-5 at the moment. So Delaney breaking across field. Put down about 20 metres out from his own line. Matthews in from the wing. So back it goes this time to Tiernan. Illawarra quite content to take it up the centre. And they've made it up to about 10 metres short of the halfway mark. Skifalidi back over to Russell. Russell taken this time by Brett Leman. Dowling getting in the tackle also. Kick downfield by Simon, taken back there by Gardner. Gardner straightening up, but O'Neill rather. Russell will put him down. Julian Gardner into the wrong code. So now it's going to be Kerrod Walters. From the dummy half spot up the centre, his opposite number, Skifalidi, comes at him and eventually gets him. Dowling. Madison. Home. Had the ball reefed out of his hands. That has to be a penalty.
You can see the blatant ripping action there by Brett Rodwell. Mark Home carting the ball up to the defensive line. This is what the new rule was meant to ensure did not happen. Rodwell quite hopeful in getting away with it.
Well, it has been a bit of a dicey one so far, but I don't think there was any doubt on that occasion.
No, it's a bad rule, Bill. I think the interpretation they brought in is not a good one.
So now it's Walters to take the tap. To Dowling. Dowling up the centre. Walters. Mark Home. Reaches the quarter line. So back over to Madison. Outside to Gilmeister. Gilmeister just inside the quarter. And still it's Illawarra with a lead of 8 points to 2.
And they move it on the attack through Miles. Held the pass up. O'Neill hit the line, but he was met in solid defence. So the Illawarra defence stretched at the moment. They lead by 8 to 2. Working on the blind side is Brett Leman, turning it back infield. But the defence again is up through Teitzel, moving open side. The two Walters boys combined. And the ball beautifully picked up by Dale Fritz. And straight away they begin a counter-attack from inside their own quarter line. Gee, how many times have we seen that throughout the grades here this afternoon, David, where the little kick put through and claimed cleanly by a defending player?
Well, the error there being made, Fordo, is you must put that kick in behind the defensive line. Now he's putting it across the front because that gives him a great opportunity to snatch it. And Illawarra there did well.
Skifalidi working out of dummy half. But he was taken in the tackle of Gene Miles. Warming up on the touchline is the big prop forward Bill Dunn, who started the game here today for the Steelers. The final tackle. He, in fact, was replaced at the half-time break. A long spiralling punt, beautifully fielded by O'Neill. And that characteristic carrying the ball in 2 and then transferring it to 1. Takes it 32 out from his own goal line. We've had about 16 minutes of play in the second half. And the Steelers lead by 8 points to 2.
You must beat Illawarra. I think their defensive pattern relies on packing the ruck and the ball back on the inside is well covered. You must beat them on the outside.
There's a lovely ball from Morganson, and the replacement player in the clear, Morganson, floated it in for Hancock, but he's turned over possession and then won it back. And 6 more to go. A little bit lucky for the Broncos. Now Madison from dummy half, giving it to Kerrod Walters. Nowhere to go through there. Skifalidi wrapped him up. In there also was Delaney. Madison working out of dummy half for Dowling. And Dowling is 15 metres out in centre field. Walters away for Hone. Steadies it with another one to take it to 9 metres short of the try line. Brisbane in search of their 50th try of the season. And it will be a vital one because they trail by 8 to 2. Now Dowling switching play Leman and driven back in good defence by Illawarra.
Got to move it wide.
Final tackle now for the Broncos. It'll go to Miles. Miles, well, again, the rebound, and Simon comes up with the football. And Illawarra inside their own quarter. Russell, here's a chance for McIndoe, but Khan does a good job on him again. He's not an easy winger to mark, Big Alan McIndoe. He's got pace and size and a tremendous step. But so far, Khan has read him well most of the day.
Got it away from him once down that far side, though, but outside of that, he's had him wrapped up.
There's Delaney. A great bust again by Delaney. Turning it back infield. Stolen by Walters. A dreadful pass. And put Hancock under pressure.
Well, there's still 22 minutes to go. Brisbane do not need to panic. They've got the side and the back line to win this game. They've got to use that back line. Illawarra's defensive pattern, which is first class, covers a very small area around the play the ball. The opportunities are out wide.
Tony Durkin, Doug Delaney at Penrith and here at Illawarra has failed to consolidate a spot in the top grade, but every time he seems to come on, he seems to generate something.
He certainly has today, David. 2 long breaks. In fact, the first major break of the first half was initiated by him, and he had a blinder in reserve grade. Just one more change in the Steelers lineup. Bill Dunn has gone on, and Craig Teitzel is having a spell.
Now, Miles, this time a long kick downfield. It's taken by Riolo, who knocked it back towards his own goal line. And now he runs it out towards the quarter. Walters went a little high. Referee Eversley signals around the chest. 15,000 people don't agree. Well, they've certainly had plenty to cheer about in 1991. Let's look at it again. Solid defence. I was about to say the last few years they've been a disappointing side, Illawarra. A couple of years ago got their 3rd wooden spoon. They finished 9th last year, but they've had a terrific record in 1991 under new coach Graham Murray. So the side that came into the premiership back in 1982, their fans have finally got some hope that they may be in a semi-final in 1991. Here's Hancock trying to change that scoreline that reads Illawarra 8 and the Brisbane Broncos 2. And we're right on the halfway mark of this second half. And after being 2-all at half-time, the Steelers have pinched a try with Matthews, and they lead by 8-2.
Broncos in possession, some 5 metres inside Illawarra territory. Out to Gilmeister. Gilmeister trying to find a gap, but he can't because Simon comes in with the tackle. Brett Leman, the dummy half. The final tackle here. Over to Madison. Madison kicking for touch and is going to find it. Nice kick there.
Better passage of play from Brisbane. Just worked it up. Madison angled for touch. Found it inside that 10-metre zone. Illawarra now to do all the hard work to get it out.
Yes, you say, David, there's no need to panic at this stage with 20 minutes remaining.
Brisbane have got the capabilities to score a point a minute, but they can't ease off at any stage, including defence. At the moment, they trail by 6 with the score at 8-2. They don't want to have any greater deficit. The job at hand now is defence.
Riolo is the man to play the ball. Over this time to Russell. Slipped out of Leman's tackle, but eventually pulled down by Walters. Skifaliti decides to go himself, gets it back over to Delaney. Skifaliti sending it on to Tiernan. 25 metres out from the Raiders line. Over then this time to Dunn. Takes a bit of pulling down. Marcone injured himself on that tackle. Skifaliti sends it to Russell. He swoops it back behind. Now the kick downfield by Simon. Going to be taken by Willie Kahn. He looks for Julian O'Neill outside, but no chance of getting it away. Rodwell comes in over the top, and underneath was McIndoe. Ran off, chased and tackled by Rodwell again. So Madison, Brett Leman. Still a couple of metres short of the halfway mark. Walters to Dowling. Marcone receiving some attention from the trainer. Gene Miles busts up the centre, still going as the captain, but can't unload it. Skifaliti had his arm around the ball. There's no chance of giving it to the supports. Here's the final tackle. Walters goes himself, now puts in a grubber kick. Going back there is Riolo. He starts to run. Walters comes at him, tries to ankle tap him, but can't. Gets away from Kerrod Walters. Can't get away from Gene Miles, though.
Been some desperate tackles by Gene Miles today. It's the third one I can remember where he's just been able to hang on by one hand.
So from the play the ball, it's Skivalidi. No, it's going to be played forward by Delaney. Skivalidi, or rather Riolo's up as dummy half now to Skivalidi. Hone is still receiving. He's just coming back onto the field now. So Russell seemed to have all the time in the world to work out what he was going to do. Final tackle. Back it goes over there to Simon. And they've consistently kicked deep downfield.
Well, they've had the advantage of this breeze in the second half. Bill Julian Ailes had a lot of work to do, but not only do they kick well, but they get a great chasing game. Their enthusiasm builds as the clock ticks down. 16 minutes to go. Brisbane still trail by 6 points. And it'd be interesting to see whether Wayne Bennett would look at switching Gene Miles to the centres and bringing on Bob Conway, who is a fresh player. But I do notice, Tony Durkin, that he has another player ready to come on.
Well, Paul Isles has been warming up. In fact, Paul Isles is on the sideline at the moment, Righty, and I've got absolutely no idea what Bennett may do.
There's a pass to no one, and it goes straight into touch.
Well, pressure's telling now on Brisbane. The crowd is really lifting Illawarra, and the pressure bearing heavily on the Broncos. Here's the interchange trying to be brought about. Kelvin Giles yelling. There's the pass here from Kevin Walters, searching for Michael Hancock, 2 metres behind him.
So the scrum goes down. Delaney getting it across to Simon. He works across field, back inside to Rodwell.
B16, Canberra 8.
From the play the ball, it'll be Matthews. Dummy half Skivalidi. Back on it goes then to Pinchinelli.
1 pointer here would give Illawarra a great position if they need it.
Taking it up is Morrissey. Trying to get it away, and it's going to be dropped over there by Dunner. The Broncos end up with possession. Renouf coming up to McIndoe. He takes him ball and all though.
Renouf needed some peripheral vision there as he still tries to struggle forward.
And then he ran into Rodwell, who really crashed him into the turf.
Errors in the second half. Illawarra 28-24, but they're in front on the scoreboard.
So it's Brett LeMahon. There's a man or two over out there. My man Dummett, he's cuts up over the halfway. He's looking for Hancock. Away it goes to Michael Hancock. Riolo's out after him. He's up over the quarter line, but he forces his way back inside, but put down on the tackle. Getting up quickly to play it. Can they keep the pressure on? Back it comes this time to Morganson. Outside then to Walters. Walters put down about 5 metres out. Kieran Walters comes up at dummy half. They let it go wide. Dowling, now to Gene Miles. He sends the one-hander. It's going to be another 6 tackles because it was touched over there by Morrissey. Men to burn out on the right-hand side if they let it go. Right over the top this time. It'll be Renouf ending up with it, but the momentum was lost a little bit. Dunn eventually puts him down. From the play the ball. Walters waits for it. Over to Dowling. Dowling just takes it up. I don't know what was going to happen on that occasion.
They only wanted to settle there. Bill Madison wants it now.
Gene Miles has got it. He charges his way through. Gino's pulled down about 3 or 4 metres out. Walters to dummy half. Illawarra leading by 8 points to 2. Madison to LeMahon. LeMahon trying to push away the tackle, but it was a nice one there by Fritz. So they lost a little bit of ground there, the Broncos. Kieran Walters puts it up. It's nice and high. He's following out after it. They go up. It's going to be taken in the in-goal area, though, by Riolo.
Sensational defence by Illawarra. We're seeing now why they're the best defensive side in the competition. Brisbane got close. Kieran Walters put that up prior to the 6th tackle. I really don't know why he did. Taken beautifully by Riolo. We've spoken plenty about Julian O'Neill's game today, but David Riolo has had a great game, and it took a terrific tackle on Michael Hancock to hold off a try.
So the Steelers defence holds, and they're 32 out from their own goal line. They lead by 8-2, and we've had 26 and a half minutes of play in the second half. And listen to the crowd. Looks as though another replacement is going to be made to Illawarra. Skivalidi makes the break. Beautiful pass back for Fritz. In turn for Delaney, he did the juggling act and kept the ball alive. Still going with the kick and chase. Hancock going back. He's under pressure from Matthews, but the ball goes into touch.
Well, it's Illawarra's day, and it's amazing what a crowd can do. The Broncos are now feeling Lang Park in reverse. Doug Delaney has been inspired, and you saw there the juggling act that did it. The adrenaline's running high. Illawarra on fire.
Brett LeMahon is off the field for the Broncos, and Paul Isles is on. for his first grade appearance. Suffered a broken jaw earlier this year. Now O'Neill. The Broncos inside their own quarter. It'll go away for Madison to Hancock. He got away from Tiernan, came to Riolo, bumped him out of the way, but Delaney was there in cover. The Broncos now working it through Darling. That's tremendous defence and a good charge by Darling. Now it's Gene Miles, cut out by Walters, in turn for Isles. He's a good, skillful player, is Isles, and he unloaded beautifully. He's got a terrific ability to stand and unload, Paul Isles. I wonder whether he can inspire something. There is a great hit on Gilmeister. Skifalidi comes up with the hit. Walters, the kick behind the defence. Riolo is sweeping and took it well. Now he straightens up. That's a tremendous break by Riolo, and he takes it 32 out from his own goal line.
Had an outstanding game, David Riolo, deceptively quick.
Now Russell. Brisbane's defence is tested. They trail by 8-2. It comes to Dunn. Unloaded for Skifalidi. Delaney turns them around again. His kicking game has added another dimension to Illawarra since he came on. And O'Neill again under pressure takes it 32 out from his own goal line. Hancock is the receiver.
Riolo receiving some attention, David, but I think he'll recover quickly.
Yes, he's had an outstanding game, as David Wright mentioned. Walters unloading it for Madison. Has proven on occasions to be the game breaker for Brisbane in past seasons. They need someone to inspire them at the moment. Greg Dowling for Gilmeister. Mark Hone under pressure, and he did very well. It's the final tackle. There's the charge down. Willie Kahn goes back. He picked it up magnificently. There's been a change, Tony Durkin to the Illawarra side.
David, the lock forward from the President's Cup side, John Cross, in jersey number 39, is on for Illawarra, replacing Phil Tiernan.
32 metres out. Dowling takes the tackle in centre field. Kerrod Walters tried to work out of dummy half. And I can tell you, Billy, if Brisbane are going to get out of this one, they've got exactly 10 minutes to do it.
Yes, they've really going to have to work here. That's Miles tackled on the halfway mark, but I think you'll have to be good to get through this Illawarra defence. Here's the final tackle. They waft it over the top. It's going to roll loose. It'll be picked up out there by Morganson. Morganson tackles, sends a pass back now. Hancock's going to be tackled there, I think, without the ball, but eventually going back as Isles. Now he's trying to get the kick in, but
Six to go.
Was touched. I thought it might have been there.
Yeah, he was a very late call by Annesley.
Kerrod Walters. Walters up the centre. Still going. Lost his footing a little bit, but eventually pulled down about 5 metres inside Illawarra territory. Madison from dummy half. Back it goes to Dowling. Dowling working out a little bit wide. Madison. Steelers lead by 8-2. Mark Hone. Working up towards the quarter. Morganson is knocked out of his hands. It'll be taken over there by the centre in Rodwell.
Great defence by Rodwell. He was in trouble. He went for the man and the ball at the same time. Pulled off a great intercept.
So now it's Illawarra in possession. Broncos come up with about 6 badly directed passes in their second half, but the pressure, I think, has been telling. That's why they've been trying to do some of those things, I guess. Fritz up to the halfway mark, got it back inside to Skifalidi, looking for support, but he can't find anyone. Final tackle. So from the play, the ball, Delaney gets it back over there, this time to Simon. Simon down into the in-goal area. Taken back there by O'Neill. O'Neill almost got away from McIndoe. He got up, started to go again, but Fritz came at him. So from the play, the ball, across field goes Kahn. And Illawarra with a lead of 8 points to 2. have scored the only try of the match. Here's a pass to no one. Eventually taken by Isles. And this relentless pressure from the Illawarra side continues.
Their defence is unbelievable.
Pinchinelli went in for the tackle, but they finally unloaded it. Now the cross will be the tackler. Kieran Walters back to Miles. Shapes for the kick, then decides to run. Then try to get a pass back behind an Illawarra ball. So it's Simon getting it away to Skiffalidi. Back in turn to Russell. Then on it goes to Simon again. Simon trying to push away the tackle, but he's going to be put down 20 metres out. Back on to Dunn. Dunn taken by Dowling.
That's again, Bill, a field goal will seal it.
Well, are they going to try that or are they going to run it out? They're going to run it out with Morrissey. Morrissey looking for support, pulled down 9 metres out. Back it goes to Simon. He shapes for the drop shot at goal, and it is there. It's there. That makes it 9 points to 2, and that would be the ball game.
You'd have to think so, Bill. 7 points in front with 6 minutes to go, and with the crowd cheering you on. Great effort this by Illawarra. The best defensive performance I've seen this year, if not for a number of years. Brisbane have tried everything. Illawarra have had an answer. 9-2.
So here's the kick-off, and it's a short kick, and it's going to be picked up by Willie Kahn.
Quick thinking by Brisbane. They need the ball to win it.
Back it comes to Walters. Walters to Kieran Walters. He gets to the quarter line before he'll be wrapped up in the defence. Fritz was the one to lead it off. Back to Dowling. To Isles. To Renoff. Renoff taking them on. He got it away to Willie Kahn. Kahn in turn is going to be pulled down about 10 metres out. Renoff to dummy half. To Dowling. Renoff doubles around. Now he straightens it up, and plenty of defence coming in over there. From the play the ball. Isles turns it around. Back it goes to Dowling. He in turn to Walters. Walters to Miles, who tries to scoop it back. It'll be picked up by Renoff. Renoff tried to go through the centre, then tried to get the pass away. Illawarra will end up with it by the hands of Delaney.
Not very often that Brisbane have been unable to score a try in 80 minutes, and it really has not necessarily been through problems with their attack. It has been some terrific defence. Illawarra, 217 tackles to date in the match. They have really played well. You've got to hand it to them. They deserve their lead, 9-2.
Well, they've only conceded now 19 tries in the last 13 matches, and in this level of football, David, you can see why they've done it. Their defence has been superb.
Well, it's a busy defence, it's a keen defence, and they do stack the middle of the ruck to a certain extent. They do cover well. They're doing all the things necessary. They've got some good tacklers, they don't miss many tackles, and they've backed it up with a good kicking game.
Steve Renoff receiving attention from trainer Ken Ra as Willie Kahn goes back, trying to link up with O'Neill, and McIndoe meets him with a shirt front tackle. Didn't surprise me to see Russell around his bootlaces. One of the great chasers of kicks is Ian Russell. Now the floating pass for Hancock. Back inside Simon. Got inside Pinchinelli. He's finally taken in the tackle of Skiffalidi. Cross was in there as well. They move it open side. Miles. Isles. Out for Kahn. I'm trying to think, David, when Brisbane were last kept trylists.
Well, it would be a long, long time since they have been. We've said they are the best attacking side in the comp. Admittedly, without some of their best attacking players, the ball's gone forward, but they've come up against the best defensive unit, and it shows that keenness in defence, and one of the most important things to a good defensive pattern is you must move up. Illawarra have done that. They've placed pressure on the good attackers. Brisbane have not been able to come up with the answer.
Doug Delaney to work the scrum just inside Brisbane's end of the ground. He goes open side. He's made the break. He split them wide open. O'Neill's on the chase, and he picks him off with a magnificent tackle. Delaney's cut them to pieces. Russell. Here's the numbers, Illawarra. Simon. One-handed pass.
6 to go.
6 more to go. Riolo picks the ball up, and he's only 5 metres short.
Make no mistake too, Fordo, Brisbane have not played badly today. Illawarra have been the side that have played better.
Now Dunn. Replaced at half-time and back on the field. The former Cronulla player. Skiffalidi. Running square. Russell, that pass looked a little forward. Pinchinelli. Rodwell. Rodwell's over. Rodwell will come around to score his first try of the season. And it's clinched the game here at the Wollongong Showground.
Well and truly sealed it. Perseverance prevails. The crowd go wild. They have done their crowd very proud here today, these 13 Steelers. They played with great intensity, good backline movement, opportunities out wide. Pinchinelli fires it out to Rodwell, holds the ball up for a moment. The cover couldn't get to him, and Rodwell comes across nicely to score it. Let's have a look at it. Brisbane were in trouble. The break initially had been made by Delaney from the base of the scrum, and from that point on, Brisbane were in trouble. Rodwell finishes it off. Brisbane have not been able to finish today. Illawarra have. They've scored 2 tries, and that was a beauty. They've won the match and have certainly sealed their place in the top 5.
In fact, his 3rd try of the season for Rodwell, playing in his 46th first grade game. A local junior, and the hoodoo has been broken. There only remains one team in the Winfield Cup that is yet to defeat the Brisbane Broncos, and that is Newcastle, who they play next Friday night.
Interesting 4-day. Broncos dominated possession, 197 to 168, but couldn't score a try.
Matthews with the ball placed. He moves in. It's hit the upright and bounces back into the field of play.
David, the interesting thing out of this, of course, is Illawarra going to 17 points on the table, and that puts them in a nice, handy spot.
Well, they've done it very, very professionally today. They've stuck to their match plan. As David Wright mentioned, it's not as though Brisbane played badly. Their kicking game has certainly been well off today, and that put themselves under a lot of pressure. But this side has been relentless in defence. They've scored 2 smart tries. And this man, Delaney, has ignited them since he came on. Here's another go. It's Riolo, the fullback. 1-on-1. Too much pace for O'Neill. That is a superb try. And the fans at the Wollongong Showground, a record crowd, rises 1. And another local junior puts his stamp on this game.
It puts a stamp on the game that he put on some time ago. David Riolo has had a sensational game from fullback. Don't underestimate the contribution of Doug Delaney. Also that man Ian Russell. Delaney holds it up. Renoff goes the wrong way. Slips from Miles' grasp. And then Riolo. Look at this for confidence. Julian O'Neill stood up for a moment. Riolo accelerator. Away he goes to score, try and rub it in. Illawarra now 17-2 from deep inside their territory. Brisbane, OK, may have eased up. This side has not eased up for 80 minutes plus. Inside pass was a good one from Delaney. Riolo, watch him size up Julian O'Neill. O'Neill idling, thinking he's got to wait his time. Riolo isn't going to wait for anybody. David Riolo brings it around to cap off a great game. A great game for Riolo and a great game for the Steelers.
Yeah, 4th try for the season from David Riolo. And the casual kicker, Matthews, has the ball placed around about 20 metres out. Floats it in. Up go the flags. It's 19 points to 2. The Broncos have been kept tryless. So a dejected side come back to halfway. And haven't they got a job ahead of them now to try and cement a spot in the top 5?
Well, they have, Fordo, when you think there'll be another 2 weekends where Brisbane will be without their representative players. Wayne Bennett turns away. He hasn't come, or he hasn't got the 2 points he came for.
19 points to 2. And this record crowd have been rewarded at the Wollongong Showground. I think that picture of Greg Dowling tells it all. A tremendous win by the Illawarra Steelers.